Hi, I'm Dave, founder of Halloween Year Round, and today I'm reviewing Night of the Zoopocalypse, the Clive Barker inspired kids horror movie. Yes, you heard all those words correctly. So, little backstory. Clive Barker, horror legend, the mind behind Hellraiser, Candyman, Midnight Meat Train. He came up with this idea, I think it was back in 2014. It was this concept called Zombies or Night of the Zombies, just about this kid stuck in a zoo overnight while there's like this animal zombie outbreak in the zoo. And then in like 2015, it was going to be turned into a graphic novel. And here we are 10 years later. I don't think that ever materialized, but a group of filmmakers got together and decided to adapt that concept into the movie we have, Night of the Zoopocalypse. So, disclaimer, Clive Barker did not work on this project directly. However, according to a really interesting AMA Reddit that the directors did, they did screen the movie for him, and according to them, he really liked it. So that's cool to see that, he had this idea, and even though he himself didn't work on it, he got to see it made into something and that he loved it. And you know who else loved it? My entire family. It is not common that I'm able to bring the kids to a movie I review on this channel. But we brought the whole family, and it's great. So let's get into Night of the Zoopocalypse.
Get out of here! Grandma! Did you just punch my grandma in the face?
Sorry, kid, but your grandma's a monster.
We're introduced early on to a wolf named Gracie. She's kind of very caught up in, she wants to, live like a pack, but she's also in a zoo, and there's this whole like free animal versus caged animal idea. David Harbour voices a mountain lion. He's probably the only voice actor in the movie whose name I recognized. I did look through the list. It's a lot of like character actors, and when I looked up their IMDb, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I recognize you had a small part in that movie or show that I do recognize." But of course, David Harbour of Stranger Things fame is kind of the big name that they attach to it other than Clive Barker. So this meteorite crashes down, and we're doing animal zoo zombies. That's you're along for the ride, and the movie is quite the ride. It starts off kind of like Madagascar, goes a little bit into Color Out of Space, and then we're just doing a zombie movie where you have this ragtag group of animals that don't necessarily like each other. There's a lemur who's obsessed with movies, so much so that he fakes being sick so he can go to the veterinary office and watch TV all night. You have this ostrich who thinks he's better than everyone. You have this monkey who really thinks he's better than everyone. And a very, very kind of sarcastic capybara who doesn't take anything from anyone, with the wolf and the mountain lion. But as like a kids movie, look, I have kids. I know what it's like, and if you have kids, you know it too. For every up, there's an emoji movie. So when you take your kids to see like an animated kids movie, you're rolling the dice. It can be very hit or miss. What I love about Night of the Zoopocalypse is it has all the conventions of a zombie movie. Like the zombie bites another animal, they turn into one. It's a little scary. My 3.5-year-old got scared at one scene, but all the rest of it, she loved it. And hey, don't take my word for it. What did you think of Night of the Zoopocalypse?
I really liked the food.
Yeah? How about you, Lily?
What was your favorite part?
When the froggies jumped.
Yeah, the zombie frogs.
Yeah, I love that part.
So it's just really, really cool that there's like this kid horror movie. I love kid horror movies because it's sort of a way that I can introduce my children to the genre. So I loved it for that. But even that aside, it's just a really fun movie. Like you have to check your sense of seriousness at the door. It is not a movie that takes itself seriously in any way, shape, or form. It's just trying to have fun. It's throwing a joke a minute, it's throwing a horror convention a minute, and you're just sort of along for the ride. It can be much more visually creative and much more, it can be closer to Looney Tunes and do these weird crazy things. Like we get, once they turn into zombies, their bodies can fall apart and then like reform into other things. We get a creature in it. I don't want to spoil it, but we get a creature that looks like it's something out of John Carpenter's The Thing. And again, this is a kids movie, and just to kind of sell you on how impressed I was with this, my wife was not crazy about going to see this. It came out right around my daughter's birthday, my now 6-year-old daughter, and she saw an ad for it on YouTube. She's like, "I want to see that movie." And she was like, "All right, I guess we'll see," you know. She was thinking it was going to be like the Emoji Movie. So we go to see it. She was into it the entire movie, and both my kids, they can be hit or miss with when you take them to the theater, especially my 3.5-year-old with, how is she gonna sit through the whole movie? Like, we took her to Moana 2, and I had to, like, take her out to the lobby for a solid 20, 30 minutes in the middle of the movie because she got bored and just wanted to run around. She sat there through this entire movie and was engaging with it, to the point that it was kind of annoying my 6-year-old because my 3.5-year-old kept saying, "Look, look, daddy, look." And then she would just describe, like, "Look, it's a zombie frog. Look, daddy, it's a gorilla." And my 6-year-old was like, "You don't have to say everything you see." But the fact that she was just shows that she was fully engaged in it and was really interested in what she was seeing. It did also help that we were the only people in the entire theater, just because this is a movie that's not getting a huge marketing campaign. I really hope you guys see it though, because it was nice that it was just me and my family in the theater and it was like a private screening, but I would much rather see this movie do well so that movies like this keep getting made. So, I cannot recommend enough Night of the Zoopocalypse. If you don't have kids, see it anyway, cause it's a fun, family-friendly gateway horror movie that's still entertaining and manages to do zombies, but in a way that's not gonna traumatize, most children. And if you have kids and you wanna get them into horror, I can't think of a better movie to do it than this. So, I loved it. I hope you guys loved it. Let me know in the comments, did you see Night of the Zoopocalypse? Have you even heard of it? Please let me know if this video is what made you heard of it, and if it is, I strongly encourage you to go see it before it inevitably gets taken out of theaters in a week or two and then ends up buried on streaming somewhere. Like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. If you don't, you may end up trapped in a zoo overnight with zombie animals. And as always, every day is Halloween.